Hello fellow plastic throwers, it is time for another Meteorite Extravaganza, and I want to start by just thanking you guys from the bottom of my heart. I am so grateful for all of the support and interest on not just everything. You guys have made Fulcrum what it is, and you know, the reception to the Meteorite Grenade has been unbelievable. It's been incredible. I really appreciate the way you guys can support the channel, but also you get something in return that you can have a go with and use out on the field, and it's brilliant. Really massively appreciate each and every one of you. And even though I've been a bit late to the 1 year anniversary, it's for a good reason, because we've got a few other bits and bobs here. And to start off, we have a M67 body. Now this is different to the OG original Meteorite style body, which was just spherical, whereas the M67 has almost an apple or vaguely heart shape to it. Fully Meteorite compatible. All of the bodies as usual fully compatible with any sort of Meteorite fuse. So right now we've got the conventional spoon fuse. I tend to use those two words interchangeably, and the focus doesn't like the fuzzy effect. If we take off the conventional spoon head, we can then screw in a twist head for convenience and speed. I still quite like the spoon fuse, I like the realism of it, but I have been using my Meteorite twists and I've been getting on very well with them. I like the way you can just quickly twist it and throw it.
Yep. Holy shit, 3 of them! Is it open yet? Did you get all 3? Yeah.
Next up we have a Mills bomb style body. Now the Mills bomb was used, oh god, from like the First World War to like the Gulf War. And then of course we can chuck in the twist fuse. This one's a bit rough because I think that one needs a bit more sanding, but there we go. We now have a twist fuse Mills bomb Meteorite. It's quite a big one, as you can tell. Still only weighs about like 110 grams or something, if I remember correctly. But, you know, be careful when you're throwing them around, of course. So if you're looking for a World War II, World War I, British Gulf War, or any sort of British loadout from basically any point in history, a Mills bomb would fit into that loadout quite nicely. And so we've now gone from the biggest grenade to the one of the smallest ones in the Meteorite collection. I just realised I forgot to take the support material out of this, but this is an Austrian HG80 fragmentation grenade. And if we combine the spoon with the conventional fuse, this is a bit of a muddy spoon because that's my personal one, we end up with an absolutely diddy little grenade. And to put that into perspective, this is a Meteorite body, which is, well, the second most smallest grenade in the Meteorite system. Yeah, I must say the HG80 grenade is really growing on me. I really like the look of it. It's nice to fit in the hand, it's nice and small, you can fit these almost anywhere in your loadout.
Oh, okay. Oh, in that case, get out there.
And of course you can chuck on the twist fuse, and it's honestly, it's absolutely tiny. Next up we have this RG42 body. Now the RG42 was a Soviet World War II era grenade, and in fact I think it was used almost all the way up until like the 60s or 50s, when they then replaced it with the RGD5. And then we have the spoon version of it here, and of course it can be then combined with the twist fuse if you want a bit less realism but a bit more convenience. But of course that is not the elephant in the room, because we have this thing which was designed by my brother. This is the Meteorite UFO. It is a frisbee style grenade, so rather than having a parabolic trajectory from an overarm or underarm throw, this can be thrown in a straight line. Not by me though, because I'm bloody terrible at throwing frisbees. In fact, when we were testing this, I pulled a muscle in my shoulder. And of course with all the other Meteorites, just be careful where you're throwing them. Don't bowl them directly at people, use them for like indirect fire. Now this one only really accommodates the twist fuse, but you can then twist it to arm like so and throw like a frisbee. But speaking of fuses, we also have a new fuse to the range, and this is the low profile pin only fuse. Now this is a good blend between the realism of the spoon conventional fuse, but you also have one less component to lose. You don't have to worry about losing a spoon, you just pull the pin out to arm it and you're good to go. So this is a good blend between realism and speed, and this is it with the RG42 body on. And here is the traditional body. Let's chuck the Mills on it whilst we're at it. There you go, nice big Mills with a tiny little fuse on top. And all of these fuses, if tuned up correctly, will be just as sensitive as each other. And to use the pin fuse, you cock it just like every other Meteorite fuse. You pop it up like that, it should cock over to one side. You take your pin, push it in, you might have to turn it around a bit, and it should fit in like so. Then we can chuck it on a body like this M67. And my personal favourite when you use the pin-only fuse, I think this looks really good, that is the Meteorite. And then to arm the pin fuse, you simply pull the pin out and drop the grenade. And if you follow the updated fuse assembly guides for all of the Meteorite fuses, you should be able to get these to be incredibly sensitive indeed. Now, a few little top tips with the Meteorite. I definitely recommend you use the bent spring method when you take a blowtorch and bend the end of your spring to immobilize it in the little notch in the fuse. And the way you can adjust the sensitivity of the Meteorite fuse is you turn the striker here inside the spring. So you'd hold the spring still and you take, say, a pair of pliers and you would turn it inside the spring like so. Now, normally you have the two little arrows pointing at each other, the one on the base here and the one on the striker. They'll point towards each other. The further away those two arrows get, the more sensitive the fuse will become. Now, each fuse has to be tuned up differently because you get minor variations in the spring tension and all that. And you'll know if you've turned the striker too far inside the spring because it won't cock properly. It'll keep jumping down and it won't cock up to one side. This one, I think, is just on the edge of what I could get away with. And as you can see, that is very sensitive. If you do go too far, just turn the striker around again and go again. And once you've got your sensitivity set right, what I recommend you then do is you then arm the fuse, and you either twist the twist fuse on, put the pin in on this one, or put the spoon and pin on the conventional fuse. And then I recommend you drop it 5 or 6 times on the floor. And I also like to take the fuse out and bang the mechanism against a hard surface. And then you want to arm the fuse as quickly as possible. You don't have to do this with caps in. What I then like to do is I like to rapidly arm it, either turning the twist ring quickly to A to arm it, or pulling the pin out and letting the spoon go immediately. And if you set it too sensitive, you might end up with it firing as soon as you arm it. If that's the case, just dial back the sensitivity a little and you should be good to go. And as I've shown on several videos on this channel, if you get the Meteorite fuses tuned up right, and it doesn't take much effort to do so, you can have an incredibly sensitive impact fuse.
Ow!
And when it comes to caps, I strongly recommend you use Sony Wick or Wick Amorces, whatever it's called. These are made in Germany. And from Bankstuff UK, these cost about £2 for a pack of 12. And these caps are the best. They fit the best, they are the loudest, and I really recommend you avoid the cheap Amazon caps. They're crap. Half of them don't even seem to be filled properly, and they are not worth the hassle. Get some of these Sony Vic caps. They are honestly, they are brilliant. And when you get an especially good batch of these, they are easily as loud as a 209.
So. Oh, that was a good one.
That was good.
Once again, I want to thank you guys all for the incredible support you've given to Fulcrum, not just the Meteorite family, but everything. And I also really appreciate how you guys have received the Kuba HPA builds I've been doing as well. I've got another one planned, but that's for another time. I've got a big list of things I need to do, but I really massively appreciate what you guys have done to Fulcrum. And we're nearly at 10K as well, which I find mind-boggling. And if you want to find my Meteorite system, then make sure you check out fulcrumairsoft.com and Fulcrum Airsoft on Colts 3D. If you enjoyed the video, then please make sure you leave a like, and if you want to be part of the channel, then please make sure you subscribe too. And once you've done that, you can check out my loudest airsoft loadout in action right here.